Bat Force Radio.
Bat Force Radio is rated M for mature, or should that be immature?
Hey guys, Dustin Wynn.
Hey, this is Scott Snyder.
This is Paul Dini.
And you're listening to Bat Force Radio.
And you're listening to Bat Force Radio.
You're listening to Bat Force Radio.
This is Kevin Conroy, the voice of Batman, and you're listening to Bat Force Radio, so stay tuned.
What up, squad? Welcome to another episode of the Everything Batman Podcast. I'm your host, Dunk, and today we have my brother from another, Gramps.
Yo, howdy.
And special guest, Levi.
How's it going?
Well, guys, what we're going to go through today is we had a great weekend over at Dallas. Myself not being from the area, it was spectacular. But with these two gentlemen next to me, we went over to Dallas Fan Expo and had quite the experience for our second annual, I guess, trio hanging out at the Dallas Fan Expo.
Yeah, this is becoming like, this is our second annual Dallas Fan Expo. This is becoming like a tradition now. You started something.
Oh, yeah. And it's, back-to-back years. I think last year I was like, oh, man, I love it here. And then, of course, there's brisket and some nice warm weather to get me out of the north for a while. And, I get this opportunity to hang out with you guys.
You should be down here right now.
I'm good.
It's terrible. It's terrible.
Melting.
How's the AC holding up?
Cranked.
It's struggling. Mine was struggling today for sure.
Yeah, I'm happy I dodged that.
I take the dogs out at 4 o'clock and it's just sweat. It's just miserable right now.
Well, you don't have them walking on asphalt, right? Because
no.
Yeah, I'm happy I dodged that. I was nervous because there was a lot of thunderstorms. That weekend I was down. It's only 2 weekends ago, right? Yeah. I was nervous about the thunderstorms being, hoping there weren't any delays or anything, but I kind of lucked out. I think that's the second time. Well, last year, the same thing happened, but last year I got delayed and that kind of sucked. But, yeah, let's jump in it. Going into Dallas Fan Expo, like what expectations do you guys have, going in it?
Well, this year I had a lot of expectations because they had such an awesome lineup. Fan Expo has done a great job over the years, just building and building. And, it's more than just a Comic-Con now. Really their bread and butter is the celebrities that they bring in. Right.
Yeah.
And they had a lot of A-listers. They had Chevy Chase. They had the cast from National Lampoons, even Christy Brinkley there. They had Hayden Christensen.
That was huge.
That was huge. And they had the cast from Daredevil and Punisher, Charlie Cox, Vincent D'Onofrio, John Bernthal. They had cast from The Office there. They had voice talent. They had probably the highlight of my weekend, and I think Levi's too, they had Peter Weller from RoboCop there. So my expectations were very high. Unfortunately, Zachary Levi had to cancel due to a schedule conflict. I was really hoping to get the chance to meet him because I love me some Shazam. But then also, the comic creator guest, you had James Tinian, Art Germ. Is it Art Germ or Art Germ?
Art Germ.
Germ, okay. They had Joshua Williamson, Mitch Gerrits, Jay Lee. The list goes on. And I love it when they bring in different people. It's not just the same names every year. So I was really looking forward. I was looking forward to it, but my wallet was saying no.
Why do you do this to me?
But you got to start saving up early, I knew it was going to hurt, but every year I just go beyond what I budget.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting to see, because usually every year they have like a group of guests for one thing, and that's it. But this year, like you were saying, like it was a lot of people from The Office or a lot of people from Daredevil. Like it was pretty much pretty much anything for anybody, which was pretty cool to see. Vendor wise, it was kind of all the same. I feel like all the vendors were like, we needed a refresh there, but what can you do?
Yeah, it's tough because like vendor wise, like how do you prep, right? The only thing you really do is as a vendor, you got to find out who's going to be there, right? What items are going to sell the most. People always look for last minute things to get signed or things like that. I think the only vendor that stood out the most for me, I think is it Comics and Coffee or something like that. They had like a DC licensed like coffee, and I
saw that. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're I want to say they're based out of Florida, and they had like the Jim Lee 608 Batman 608 cover on one of the things. They had a Wonder Woman cover on the other. They had a Killing Joke cover on one of the things, and I went over because they had Batman White Knight issue 8, where Joker's carrying Harley, and of course Sean Gordon Murphy did that cover, and I was like, yeah, what the hell is that going on over there? So I went and was like, oh, we got DC licensed coffee, and I was like, oh wow, and all their flavors. Of course, I had to try them all because it's DC licensed stuff, and they had like different flavors for certain things. I wish I had more details, but they'll be on the podcast eventually. I met the people who run that, and they were so nice, and that's like the one vendor that popped up the most for me.
My favorite vendor was your boy Hank from Bulletproof Comics, who is the only, I guess, official licensed dealer for Gabriel Del Otto signed and remarks of his artwork. And you're right, that is a problem because man, I love me some Del Otto. I got a print. I got that Catwoman print. Dunk, he's always the salesman. He here's what Dunk does. He shows you what he likes. He's like, man, look at this. I love this. I love this. And he gets you looking at it, and then talks you into buying it. Man,
Hank's holding mine, dude. I got to pick it up in Brooklyn, but I'm getting that. I'm getting that print. It's fucking beautiful.
It's beautiful. And then he had that Dark Knight 3 DK3 cover where Batman's standing over the beaten mutant leader in the mud pit, and he had a remark. Oh my gosh!
On the canvas, dude.
So good.
Yeah. I don't. I got to work for Hank a little more, so I get a little discount on that one because I'm going to buy that eventually. It's too good not to have. And,
and he's a great guy.
Is hard. Yeah, Hank's a really good dude.
From Brooklyn, he drove to Dallas because he was like, I can't ship all this stuff.
Yeah, guys, check out Bulletproof Comics.
Bulletproof Comics.
Hank's a great dude. He actually, him and I met up. Like 6 years ago now. And he was telling me he had a house out here by Albany. And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, I drive to Brooklyn. I was just like, dude, 2.5 hours, yo? Like, you're crazy. You're nuts. But now, I don't know his situation, but he still has a house out here. Same town that Greg Capullo grew up in. So I'm like, oh, crap, maybe we can all link up one day.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, but Hank's Bulletproof Comics, great stuff. Great variant covers. That I can't forget them. I did a little working for them, I guess. Setup day was Thursday, and I landed, and Hank asked me if I could go over and help him out, and put up the cage and everything. And for those of you who know who Hank is and know who I am, Hank needs a ladder. I am the ladder. And so setting things up are a lot easier when I'm around. So I legit landed in Dallas around 10:30, jumped on an Uber, went straight to the convention, and sweat my ass off for 8 hours, setting everything up and walking around knowing where all the vendors were. So the con started Thursday once I landed. There was no rest. Once I hit Dallas, but yeah, setting up was dope. Then we went. No, so for me, setup was Thursday. Then when we found out of this barbecue place, Terry Black's, and we went there for the first time with Hank and our buddy Joe. And I think I got a pound of brisket, a half a pound of the cheese jalapeno sausage. I got the small order of the mac and cheese and the small order of the green beans. Yeah, I went straight to the hotel room, took a shower, and snoozed. I needed it.
That'll knock you out.
Yeah, man, I was knocked.
Terry Black's it's kind of one of the top barbecue places in Dallas. Like I was telling you when you were here, I think it was voted in D Magazine as Dallas is one of Dallas's best barbecue, if not the best. And it's in part of town called Deep Ellum, which is kind of our arts and music district. It used to be more of the music district back in up until about 5 years ago or so. Now it's kind of turned into more restaurants and shopping, but it used to be just music club after music club after music club for the local music scene back in the day.
Yeah, but pretty legit spot. Mm-hmm. So good. Then I guess Friday morning I woke up, grabbed my books, got a scooter over. Anytime with a scooter, I'm scootering, dude. I love those scooters.
Man,
granted, there's only like 5 blocks, but it was.
Are you
great.
like reaching down? Like, how far do your arms go? You have to squat
luckily
down
I got
on
long
them?
ass arms, but
I wanted to see this, man.
I'm also doing like a little poop squat because it's like the perfect, center of gravity for my balance. But I'm flying down the street, eating red lights. I should get pulled over. I scooted over to the Omni Hotel, left the scooter there, took a picture, walked in because there was air conditioning, and then just went straight into the con. And I think Friday VIPs are allowed in at 2 p.m. And I just started jumping in lines and getting stuff signed at 2. I think you guys got there around what time? Was it like 4:30?
We tried to get there around 4 when the general public could go in. And, usually Friday, the game plan is like what you did, is get your autographs for the main guests that you want out of the way. And for Levi and I, our top priority on Friday was Peter Weller. Didn't expect it to be a problem, but Friday was really busy. I mean, probably the busiest I've ever seen it there.
Felt like a Saturday.
Yeah, it really did. And it didn't help that his flight was delayed because we got there at 4 because he was supposed to have a panel at 5. And I thought, oh, this is going to be great. We're just going to, go straight there, maybe get an autograph, maybe pick up some exclusive comics, and then go to this panel. Well, when we went up to the D level area, they told us that his flight had been delayed, and the panel was moved to another day. They didn't know. They said, go down to his table and his handlers will have more information. So we thought, okay, cool. And we went down there, and that's when they told us, no, he's going to show up today and do some signings. He has some photo ops, and then the panel is going to be rescheduled. So we got in line to to do the signing, and that turned into quite the fiasco. Levi, I'll let you take it away.
Yeah. So where to even start with that?
Because we were pretty early there.
Yeah, there was probably 30 people in front of us, maybe.
Maybe.
And so we get there and we're sitting for a while and they're like, oh, he'll be here in 5 minutes. And then an hour passed. And then after that,
those 5 minutes got long, man.
Yeah, the line finally opened up. But then after about 10 minutes, he went to go take photos. It was unclear about what that was about, but didn't matter. And then they like shifted all of us because they wanted to make room for people who, before Weller showed up, like around 4 o'clock or so, they started giving people numbered tickets. And the workers were not all agreeing on what system they were using. So at any given moment, the system was changing. And so then they let all those people go through, as well as the VIPs, which meant that the other line wasn't even moving. And I think that's kind of how they handled lines in general throughout the week, right?
Well, it was like, they had us in this general line. Then, like you said, some people had been there and they had some tickets, and it was almost kind of like IOU tickets.
Yeah.
And they were like, okay, all you people that had tickets, and there were only like, I don't know, maybe 10, you guys come over here, and then we're going to start letting the VIPs go through. Well, when we first got there were only like 5 VIPs, right? These people paid, what was the price on that? Like $500?
I think it started at 500. Yeah.
But once he showed up, and the thing is, like, he was probably one of the few celebrities that showed up on Friday. He did 3 days. So there really wasn't anyone else there for people to really gravitate to. So all these VIPs, they just kept coming and coming and coming and coming. And it was just like 3 hours later, then they started the general admission.
In years past, they would do like 2 or 3 VIPs and then like 1 standard admissions or something.
They did that for some of the lines I was on, where it was like a VIP general, because general line was way longer.
Right. And that makes sense. It's like, let it move a little bit, because otherwise VIPs are going to trickle in all day.
Yeah.
That's what it did.
That's what they let them do.
Yeah. So we sat there not moving for 3 hours, even though we were only like 25 people back.
It's like, damn it, we're poor. Just another reminder.
Hey, we got a free trumpet concert.
Right. Yeah. And that's another thing that we need to mention, is that for those people with the tickets or the VIPs, some people were taking like 10 minutes.
They were eating us some time, huh?
Yeah. And one lady brought a freaking trumpet for Dr. Weller to play. So he played that, and then they chatted about it. I think he played it again, and he
played it for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, so he was having a ball.
Yeah. I mean, and of course he was just enjoying his time, and the handlers weren't really moving things along. But then as soon as it gets to the, like you said, poor people, they're like, all right,
hurry up, keep it moving, peasants.
2 at a time if you can make it work.
So, Levi, what did you bring for him?
So I brought 2 items. One is a Mondo, like old school Mondo Alamo Drafthouse screen print, where they had a showing in Colorado, and it's like Polish. The art is by Jay Shaw. Really good, black and white, beautiful. He signed that. And then I also have a original 1 sheet. So It's not like one of the reprints. It's like the actual one sheets that they had in the theater. And so I take it to him, and those are folded up because most of those older one sheets were shipped folded back in the day. So I had it folded up, started unfolding it, and I was like, I'm not going to unfold the whole thing. I'm just going to leave the part where he can sign it. And I just laid it out in front of him, and it's the top of the poster, right? The one sheet, the top of the one sheet.
Where you see his head.
Yeah. Yeah. And the titles are at the bottom, it's the iconic RoboCop poster. And he just has a conniption.
Here's some backstory. Dr. Peter Weller has a doctorate in art history, specifically like, what is it?
It's Italian
Renaissance.
Yeah.
Something like that. I mean, he is a smart dude.
He teaches in Italy.
He teaches college. So he has an art background.
You guys are like walking in and RoboCop's your fucking teacher.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
So Levi puts this poster down just showing the head,
Yeah.
Because in the poster, there's a big space where he could easily have signed, right? All right. Continue, Levi, because this story is just so classic.
And he just pauses, and he was like, don't sign the head. And then he just like interrupted himself, and he was like, started yelling at the whole crowd of people that have been standing there for hours. And he's like, never sign at the top. You don't want to take away from the focus of the art. Let me tell you, the great masters did not. You ever see their paintings? Are they signing in the middle of the poster? No, they're signing at the bottom. So do not hand me the top. And he just went on for a few minutes.
He's like, has anyone ever heard of Picasso? I was like, oh my God, this is going to be like a 30-minute lecture.
Right. And so while he's talking, I just flip it over. And I'm like, there you go.
I just went, flipped it over real subtle. I was about to cry.
It must have happened like a few times before that, and like that's it. He just like snapped at that moment. He's like, all right, that's it. I gotta fucking let everyone know.
And then he started signing it, right? And after that whole spiel of him, talking about
what you should be doing,
how it needs to go and stuff, then he takes a marker, starts to sign his name, and it's dry. So it comes out not great. And so then he scolds his handler for not properly priming it. And then he goes over it and like sketches over his name. And he's like, he realized, and you could, under his breath, he was like, this is an original one sheet too. Like he knew that it fucked it up. So then he was like, I'm going to give you, because he was also charging like for quotes. He could write a quote, for extra money. He's like, I'm going to give you a free quote. And so above his name, he drew a little arrow and a quote, which you'd think like, oh, it's a RoboCop quote. Nope. He wrote, "Don't sign art at the top!" Exclamation mark. And then he like signed Robo, the date, and then under the date he wrote "Thank you." Really big. Like, dude, never.
Yo, now that's a story to tell. I'm sorry. Like, yeah, you got your money's worth on that one.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
I love the fact that I let Levi go first because I was kind of like, I just want to see how this is going to go. Because he's kind of notorious for doing stuff like this.
Oh my god.
Because it, like, if you look at his name, it's very like messy. Yeah, Doctor. Oh, I think he signed with Doctor, right?
Yes.
He signed Dr. P. Weller, maybe.
All right, so here is the autograph.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so you see, like, there's no rhyme or reason. He just kind of like started scribbling all over, because I think he was worked up from like giving his
speech.
lecture, his speech, and then immediately after the marker messing up, and then he was just like he started.
He writes like a doctor,
right? Which I've also never seen. Like I never get anybody to write dates. Did he write dates on yours too? All of mine have the date on it.
He may have.
I've seen people write dates on things recently, or just
Really?
a year.
Interesting. I guess I haven't seen that before. Which
That's
I
funny.
yeah.
Which, he made a very valid point because, it's true. In art, you never see the artist's signature at the top or anything like that. But I think what really kind of set him off was the fact that you were asking him to sign right by his head.
Yeah.
And that would have taken away from his shine.
Right. Even though it's him signing it. But yeah, but
he could have simply said, "Hey,
right.
hey, I could just sign. I think it's better if you sign the bottom, right?" Like,
Right.
Well, but I think that's like a modern day thing now. Like, I was like, "Hey, sign over here." Like, didn't like Todd McFarlane have like a whole live stream or like, "Hey, when you actually get your book signed, you have to make sure you want to sign away from the art." And he's like, "You see here, this empty space right here, that's where you want the signature." And like he had a whole thing on CGC private signing about it. And I was just like, "All right, dude, whatever the fuck you want. I'm paying you, dude. It's $120 for your signature. I'm telling you where I want it."
Well,
right.
in comics, you've noticed in like modern comics, a lot of the cover art is designed with that empty space because they know they intend to sign this and sell this later, right? That they can make some money off signing it. So you see that a lot in the modern comic covers.
Yeah, I feel like comics might be different since they usually are bottom heavy with the art because the titles always go up at the top too. So that might be the one outlier to Dr. Weller's rules. I can't say he's wrong for the most part. So
it was just funny. It was just that story was worth the wait.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
That was so good.
We'll get more into his personality at the panel once we cover that.
Yes.
What was the panel? Sunday?
That was on Sunday.
Yeah, they moved the panel to Sunday. So that literally was our entire Friday.
Yep.
That's nuts. I just went. First person I saw was Archerm. I got 10 books signed. Then I think you have the picture of me with Ortega and Fernandez. They had Fan Expo had this Sentence Killing the Children issue 1 exclusive by Ortega. And then her boyfriend, Javi Fernandez, was also with Scott Collectibles on Friday. He did a connecting cover to it, but you had to get it at the Scott Collectibles table. So in order to get the second cover, the rule was if you show that you bought the first one, then you're capable of buying the second one.
That's a great idea.
Which is pretty legit. And you complete the set. So they're really nice. And they flew in from Spain. Javi was telling me about their luggage being was lost in Spain, so they had to they were running a little late because they had to buy clothes and stuff because they didn't have anything on their carry-on. And he's like, hopefully it stays in Spain because if we flying back on Monday, and by the time we fly back on Monday, if they bring it back over here, it's kind of useless. And I also went through their original art pages, and I was like, oh man, I'm really staring at this Two-Face page, and there's another page of Batman fighting Two-Face that he did, and then of course you look at Ortega's art. Man,
she's talented.
She's so fucking good.
They both are. I brought some trades for him to sign, but I could never catch him at his table.
Yeah, he was getting coffee for her.
He was getting coffee for her. That's right.
I'd be getting coffee for her too if I was.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, those two, Very, very talented artists.
Yeah, then I got those books, and my buddy was standing over at my buddy was at the James Tinian line, so I gave him those books beforehand. He got those signed for me, but then I went back in the line because I had Tinian books myself. So I got those triple sig, I think, and that was it for me. I just got books signed and helped Hank, and then they were like, "Hey, where you at?" And then we were like, "All right, let's go," and we went to Terry Black's. My second day.
Yeah, we all went to Terry Black's. By that time, we were starving. And, so
then we order our food, and the gentleman checking us at the checkout was like, "Oh, you guys are here for the con? Oh, John Berthenthal was just here," and we're like, "What? Damn!"
Yeah, punish some barbecue.
Yeah.
Here's Dunk in line with his Backstreet Boys. Getting some Backstreet barbecue.
Yeah. Just happy as a pig in shit, dude. I just gotta tell you guys, all jokes aside, one, I bought that shirt because it's fucking awesome. And I was just happy to eat barbecue again. I was like, dude, so much meat. So much meat that weekend.
How many times did you end up going?
No, I only went. That was the last time.
That was the last time.
What did I do? Sunday I didn't go anywhere because I closed, and then Monday I just went straight to the airport. But man, that was so good. I ate some street tacos Saturday night as well, but that's Saturday.
Oh yeah,
yeah. That was great. That was a great ending to Friday.
Yeah, it was good. And my feet were already hurting. I was like, man, this is day one. It's gonna be a long week.
Yeah, the con floor is not forgiving.
Never. It doesn't matter what con you go to, unless they do like those special basketball floors that come with like the springs. Like those are always easy when I played on those courts. But no, that's straight up concrete. They don't care about us.
Right.
So moving on to Saturday, Saturday was a big day for me because I had bought the photo op for Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio, and my time was like at 11 o'clock, so I had to be there pretty early. I mean, I think the con opened at what, 10?
Yeah, 10.
And it was hot already
because the AC broke.
Yeah, the
Saturday.
AC in the convention broke. So,
jeez,
that shit wasn't friendly.
It was not comfortable. But luckily, I managed to get through the photo op pretty quick. They had the photo op line much more organized than just like the booth signature lines. But I mean, if you ever have one of those photo ops, it's just like pretty much they herd you in like cattle, smile at the camera, and then out, But, when am I ever going to see Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio ever again in the same place? This was a must-have for me. And I was glad that the photo actually kind of came out pretty good.
That's awesome.
I made sure to wear this I Love New York Daredevil shirt. Sucked it in a little bit.
That's a great shirt.
Yeah, thanks, man. And yeah, I was pretty happy about that. And then after that, I went and actually had that signed by Vincent D'Onofrio, which I appreciated. A lot of these people, and I know it's Fan Expo and their handlers and managers, they set the prices. It's not the celebrities.
Yeah.
But D'Onofrio's signatures were very, they weren't exorbitant. I think it was like $70, maybe $80, which, I mean, that's still expensive, but not like some of these other people.
Not like Undertaker for 250 on MegaCon. Not saying anything.
Like,
not hating, but
well,
Mark Hamill, I think, was that much too.
200.
He was only 200.
Yeah.
Mark Hamill,
Yeah.
worth it.
It was. It was. But yeah, so then I was like, well, I got D'Onofrio to sign it. I got to have Cox sign it. But he had sold out of his Saturday signings. That tells you how much a demand he was for that con. So I had to buy 2 Sunday passes. And they didn't even say what time he was doing the signings. But I needed that signed, and I had bought a specific art print from Dustin Massey to have signed. So I had to get 2. And then I went to a first there was the John Bernthal Punisher panel, and that was around I want to say 1:00, and it was pretty interesting to hear him talk, because they're asking him all these questions about the Punisher and all this stuff. But the last question was pretty funny because this guy asked him, what's something that happened on set? What's a crazy story that happened on set? And he filmed, I think it's a Netflix series where he's a cop in Maryland, in Baltimore. And
HBO Max.
HBO Max?
Yeah, I saw that one.
Okay. So he said they're filming this scene, and I guess it's based on a true event, where they're filming this scene where this cop fights all these dudes. He said we filmed it in the same area where it happened, and he's having to fight 10 guys. I don't know if you've remember the scene, but he's like, I've got my riot shield and a baton, and it's all sequenced out and choreographed, and we're doing all this stuff. And unbeknownst to him, there's an actual perp on the loose running from the actual Baltimore police through the streets. And they run through the set. And about the time that he's finishing fighting off the actors, this guy takes a swing at him.
What?
And he blocks it with his shield and just instinctively hits the guy and splits his head open.
What?
And the guy falls to the ground and then just kind of gets up. I don't know if he recognized that it was John Bernthal, but he was like, wow, you come hard. And then took off running again. And the real police come running through the set chasing the guy. And they're like, oh, that wasn't an actor. That was real.
That's crazy.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And then after that was the Daredevil panel, and that was pretty interesting. Got some good information. Apparently, they asked if they could do any other superhero film or series show, what would they do? And Vincent D'Onofrio immediately said Swamp Thing. I mean, he was like, he didn't wait, which would be very cool if he did Swamp Thing.
That'd be pretty legit.
I don't think Disney would ever let him do it, but man, if he did it, he could be a very cool Swamp Thing.
We've had actors cross over.
Yeah, a good amount.
Yeah,
a good amount. It's if the money's right.
I feel like he could pull that off. Whether or not they'd want him is another thing, but I think he could pull it off.
Yeah, maybe so.
So most of your Saturday was panels.
Saturday was panels. I got done with those probably around, 4:00. I mean, my Saturday was primarily Daredevil focus, and then that was about it. I left pretty early because it was so hot in there.
Dude.
I mean,
I had to change shirts.
I did. I took an extra shirt, and I was like, I think I left by about 4 because it was just so hot in there. And with the Saturday crowd, it was just way too much.
Yeah, what the hell did I do my Saturday? My Saturday was I got a couple other signatures. Went back to James Tinian.
We met with Saddle Up. Didn't
Yeah,
we?
we met Saad finally. There's a picture of us where we all finally met up for the first time. Saturday I wore a Hawaiian shirt because it's a floral shirt because Dave over at Comic Sketch Arc wears one. So I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna wear one too. Here's a picture of us finally meeting Saad, who was a guest over at Dallas Fan Expo this year.
Man, I was talking with him, and he's from the Dallas area, and I've seen him at a couple of cons before. I've never gone up and talked to him, but what a cool guy. And it was funny. I was like, so is your closet pretty much just like Bruce Wayne Batman suits? And he's like, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, he poses on like his closet, like all the suits, and I'm like, dude, what the fuck? Like, yo, I'm like, you could be doing heroin, right? Like,
yeah, well,
That's a good point. That's a good
the amount of money we spend on our hobby, but it's like, we could be in the street right now, So
yeah, but he does cool things with his hobby. I saw where he posted something about it. He went to like a little kid's birthday party, and the kid was just, ecstatic. I thought that was really cool.
That's one thing where obviously anyone who listens or watches the show, I've gotten really close to the cosplay community because when you like, there's a lot of it where they don't post and that's happening, and like you go to a Comic-Con and you see these kids like really excited. It's like it's pure joy, right? It's like I don't know. It's like when we're actually meeting, these celebrities, and it's like, oh shit, I finally get to meet you. It's that moment, but we're grown, but with kids is like pure joy, and it's a beautiful thing to see. Most of my Saturday I was hanging out with my cosplayer friends. There's another one of myself picking up Susie Creates cosplay.
Oh yeah.
What led to this was for those of you who know Susie is a 6 foot tall, and there was a picture the day before where I was picking up Gotham Gal cosplay, Harley. I met her for the first time. She's a little shorter, and when we took this picture together, I was like, hey, let's do a picture of me picking you up. And like instantly she was like, all right. I like jumped and I wasn't ready. So I'm like, holy shit, she trusts me. And I'm like, I have to grab her and whatever. You'll see that. So the following day I told Susie, let me take the same picture with you. And Susie's like, it's a post. I'm not saying anything I'm not supposed to say, guys. She was like, I weigh 165 pounds. And I was like, that's it? Come on. And I was like, all right. Then I scooped her up. And there's a video. I pinned it on my Instagram of me picking her up. And it was just funny. Such a simple video. It got like 26,000 views. And I'm like, that video is nothing.
Jeez.
So now I'm picking up everyone.
That's his trademark thing. Expect to get picked up.
Hey, Dunk, next time you come to Dallas, I won't have anything to do. I won't have any lines. I'm going to follow you around and you just pick up
people. Pick up everyone.
Yeah, and I'll be ready.
The funny thing with the picture with Harley, there's a guy in the background who's just like, and it was one of the best photo bombs I've ever seen.
Awesome.
And I have to say that Susie did an amazing Wonder Woman. Like she was legit. Yeah. Because if you think of, okay, what would an Amazon woman look like in real life? I mean, tall, athletic, beautiful. Yeah. She did a really awesome Wonder Woman.
Yeah, she's she knows what she's doing.
Yeah.
So that's most of my Saturday. Also met up with our buddy Chris, Batman statue collector. I went over to Hank's booth over at Bulletproof Comics, and he was there. And he's like, "Oh, you want to see this Two-Face piece I just picked up from Alan Kwan?" And I was like, "Sweet." I'm like, "Oh, you really like Two-Face?" He's like, "Oh, I love Two-Face." And I was like, "Yo." So I saw this piece, pretty dope piece that I've been staring at. I'm like, but I can't get it. by
his sales technique. He's like,
by
I can't get it, but
Javi
maybe
Fernandez.
you get it.
Yeah. And he was like, "Oh, I want to go see it." And I was like, "All right, let's go." So we go over there, and I was like, "Yo, Javi, how much for this piece?" And Javi was like, "Oh, that one, $750." And Chris has his look in his face, and he's like, starts looking down, and I'm like, "Ah, fuck, he's gonna buy this piece." And then I want to say it's his son, but there was this gentleman with him, and he was like, "He owes me $40," and I'm like, "You're never gonna get it." Like maybe 6 minutes passed, and he was like, "I'm taking it." And Javi was like, "Really? Oh, thank you so much." And he paid, and they took a picture together. But there's a picture of Chris and I holding the piece, like I'm the artist, but he did take a picture with Javi, and I was really happy for him because it was a great detailed piece from what's that storyline with all the villains? One Bad Day.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a Two-Face, and I think it was like, I forgot what page it was, but it's a full page for $750. Definitely undervalued. I was just like, wow. I'm like, that's easy, like a $1,500-$1,800 piece if you like to buy it in San Diego or New York Comic Con.
Yeah, it's a really good piece.
That was I don't even know what else I do Saturday. No, then after that, I just hung out. What the hell did I do Saturday? I don't even remember.
Did you leave early too? Because it was so hot.
No, Saturday. Oh, Saturday, we all went out to dinner. Susie, Candace, Saad, Amelia cosplay, like all the cosplayers went out to dinner across the street. We had pizza. It wasn't that bad. Not complaining.
Yeah.
Had a few drinks. We hung out at the steakhouse at the Omni for a bit till midnight, and then I just went to bed and started Sunday.
So Sunday, I'd found out that the Charlie Cox signing was going to be at 9:00, so I had to be there pretty early, which meant that Levi had to get there to my house really early.
Dude, I was so tired because I wasn't able to go Saturday because I had to shoot a wedding, which on your feet all day,
Whatever
similar
the
to a
bride
con,
says.
right? And then getting home super late, waking up super early. Get donuts though. The donuts make it worth it.
That's our tradition. When we go to a con, we hit up Family Donuts.
Yeah, cream filled eclair all day, every day.
2 years straight, no donuts for me. No donuts for the dunk.
We'll get you donuts next time, because those donuts are like, that's our fuel for the day. Because we don't
need it.
We don't go to the food line and stand in a longer line to get, bad con food
that's been sitting there since the morning.
Yeah. Right. So those donuts keep us alive.
Yeah, easy calorie, 1,500 calories, and then you don't have to eat the rest of the day.
Speaking of which, like, they have like, all right, there's like boxes of pizza. I got lunch on Sunday, like at 11 o'clock. I was starving, but like they have like Chick-fil-A, and the Chick-fil-A just sits there in these warm bags all day.
That's the
and I'm
worst.
just like, you get the soggy bread, and then like the chicken is turning a little white because it's been sitting in sog all day. Like, yeah. I don't know how you people eat that food, man. I'm sorry. The pizza, I was there at 11 o'clock. Grabbed a quick pie, and I was like, all right, I'm done. I'm not going to eat till I'm done with this place. But
several years ago, before it moved to the Dallas Convention Center, when it was in Irving, which that con is way too packed for the Irving Convention Center, but out front they would bring just food trucks, so there'd be like,
that's awesome, 10
food trucks or whatever, and you get like nice solid fresh meals. But that's a thing of the past now.
I heard they might be doing some work at the convention center, so they might move. different location. But if not, that convention center is huge. You could go to the other half of it because there was another convention on Sunday. I don't know, like spa or something.
Yeah, they usually have multiple things.
Oh, yeah, they're going. Last year, what was it? The fitness convention?
Yeah.
Really?
A bunch of buff people.
Oh, yeah, that's where we saw the wrestlers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, last year was really weird because you had all these people that, you know,
nerds.
they were doing their fitness competition, so they're all painted up. And then you got the cosplay people, and it was like, I don't know who's going to which convention. Because
that explains a lot. Because in my hotel, there was some really fit people, but like they were like dressed up. So I was like, oh, that's cool that fit people go to cons too. All right.
Right.
I had no idea there was a fitness convention.
Yeah, it was like a CrossFit convention or something like really intense. Yeah.
And
That's
this year
hysterical.
was the beautician convention.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense because there was a lot of done up people when I was waiting on the Starbucks line.
A lot of done up people. Yeah.
I was like, hey, how much cake you got on your face there, lady?
I know. So Sunday, yeah. Levi and I got there before. We got there before. I mean, we made really good time. We got there like 8:30 or something like that.
Right.
And with our press passes, we just walked right in. We got in.
No questions asked.
No questions asked. Probably some of the first people on the floor. And we immediately went to the Charlie Cox line. And I had 2 items. And I was like, hey, man, can you help me out? Because it's just a lot easier, you know, because I don't want the autograph to smudge. So he got one and I had the other one. And we had to wait a little bit. I mean, it was kind of a cluster with the VIPs, and they had people that had bought tickets on Saturday that couldn't make it. They had run out of time, so they had to do them first.
Damage control.
And then the VIPs. But, I mean, it moved pretty solid. And, it, you know, Charlie is a very personable guy. He's a true pro when it comes to doing signatures at a convention. You know, he talks to you a little bit, and then he also asks you how you want it signed, where you want it signed. And then on this art piece that I had, at first I wanted it signed kind of at the top, but then I didn't want to lecture like what Levi got. So I was like, well, there's some room here kind of at the base of the feet, but I don't want him to sign it across his junk. I told him, I was like, I told the handlers, I was like, no cocks on the cock. And the lady was like, oh, wow. Okay. So, but yeah, he was very personable, very nice. And, you know, that went pretty easy. And then I was like, Bernthal was right next to him and he was getting ready to sign. And I was like, well, I might as well do the trifecta and get him to sign it, sign a Punisher print or whatever. So I got in line for that. And, Levi, what'd you do?
What did I do? I branched off for a little bit and we were going to meet back up for the Weller panel, right?
Right.
I think that was the goal. So I went and browsed the vendor floor because I didn't get to do that on Friday. So I was walking through trying to find some stuff to shop at, talk to a couple artists, that kind of thing. The vendors, like I said, it felt very similar to last year, so I didn't really see anything too interesting or different or new. But I did find some cool artists to buy some stuff from. So
nice.
Yeah. Otherwise, I think I was pretty much just wandering around. And that's when I met up with you and learned of your escapades.
Yeah, I was again cosplay section for a bit. Then I walked around. I went bin diving for a few hours. Then I made it a goal of mine. I needed to meet Oscar Nunez from The Office. In 2019, when I originally wanted to go, no, 2020, when I originally wanted to go to Dallas Fan Expo, COVID happened 2 weeks before the show. And I think that year, Oscar was going to be there. Sean Murphy was going to be there. Two main reasons I would have went. I learned that Oscar Nunez is actually from my hometown where I grew up, Union City, New Jersey, through which podcast was it? I think Joe Rogan had Joey Diaz on there.
Oh, okay.
And Joey Diaz is from Hudson County, same county. He's from the town over, one of the town over, North Bergen. And he was like, you don't fuck around with Union City motherfuckers either. Those motherfuckers from Union City. And he talked about Oscar and like his mom owning a bar there. And my ex-basketball coach in college, who was like his best friend, Chuck McBreen. And I was like, damn, my city got some peeps. And when I realized that Oscar was from my hometown, I was like, I got to meet Oscar. So I walked by him for a bit just to look at rates. And I was just like, you're from Union City, right? Just making sure I got the right Oscar. He was like, yeah. And I was like, all right, I'll be right back. And I came back and he was like, you're from Union City too? And I was like, yeah, I went to Emerson High School, blah, blah. And we started talking about like just the difference in the city compared to like when we grew up. He has me by, I think, 20 somewhat years. So he saw a whole different city, as did I, but he still goes to visit, which is cool. And, he told me, what streets he goes to visit. I'm like, oh, my parents are over here. And, we talked about pizzerias and he's like, oh, you still go to that pizzeria? I was like, oh, his son owns it now. He's like, oh, no way. And then it was just, we held up the line. He only had like 5 people online and then he started talking to me. And like 12 minutes later, I looked back. I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to hold up this line anymore. So we took a picture together and then Susie was with me and he was like, oh, come on. Let's take a picture together too. And I was like, so I had a 2-for-1 deal. Oscar was pretty neat. That was a really great experience. For me, it was such a great highlight because, I don't know, I don't hear about a lot of people coming from my area. Although Hudson County is also Hoboken and that's Frank Sinatra. So don't mess around with my county.
There you go.
And then Susie she just bought a ticket to go see Sean Gunn. So I stood in line with her for a bit. And we were with Candace as well, her friend, also a cosplayer, Nerdy Princess cosplay. And I just stood out of it. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm not going to take a picture. And Sean Gunn's like, oh, come on. So all 3 of us jumped in a picture together, which is pretty neat.
Man, he actually had a really busy convention. Like
the whole
his
weekend.
line was always.
Yeah, he was solid.
Yeah.
And then again, another good dude. We had some great conversation, and God knows how he's probably just nodding his head all weekend. Another one. All right, cool. Yeah, whatever. But that was pretty much it. Then we met up a bit with we went to Artist Alley, right, Gramps, for a bit.
Well, we did the Weller panel, right?
Oh, you guys went to the Weller panel first, yes.
Well,
That was around noon, right?
That sounds about right.
When did your escapade happen?
That was late. That was after.
That was
afterwards. First was the panel.
Yeah.
So we had to sit through the end of the Ariel voice actress panel. Her name escapes me.
Jodie Benson.
Jodie Benson, right. She had a huge crowd. I mean, I remember riding up the escalator because the panels are at like this D level, top level area where they have some small theater rooms. And this girl was dressed up as Ariel, and I mean, she was like almost pushed me out of the way and was like almost crying, trying to hurry to get to this panel. And I was like, geez, I didn't know it was that big of a deal. Yeah.
Disney fans are intense, man.
Man, but
don't mess with the mouse.
Yeah, the Weller panel was after hers, and they're like, but you can go in and get a seat, and then you can be ready for the next panel. So we did, and man, people love her. Like,
a lot of tears.
Love her. I'm talking like people, giving their heartfelt life stories about how much Ariel, helped them through this, and her music helped them through this. And I was like, wow.
No comment.
Right. It was pretty interesting to see. And then, she's a really nice, sweet person, and she had a good message for the convention and the panel, and she sang at the end. She actually sang a song from The Little Mermaid, and there were tears. Yeah, there were people just weeping, and
it's like a mini Taylor Swift concert.
Oh man, yeah, it was neat though.
That's cool though. That's an experience, it's supposed to be a panel and you get a little extra, especially if you're a fan. That's pretty neat that she did that.
And when she started singing, she was like, everybody pulled out their phone and she's like, don't record more than 30 seconds. And she gave this long explanation for why, but the short, if you read in between the lines, it was like, I don't want Disney to get mad.
Yeah.
Which was the main thing that she was trying to tell people. But.
Right. So it was interesting that we sat through that panel, which was all happy-feely, teary-hearty to Peter Weller, which was about RoboCop. I'll just let Levi explain this one.
Roughly about RoboCop. Everybody was there because of RoboCop, but
of course,
whether or not Dr. Weller stayed on topic was a different story. So it was basically he came out like a tornado instantly. He walked out. He was like, all right, who's running the show? And then someone was like, you are. And he's like, no. I don't run the show. I'm an actor.
I'm the talent.
Yeah. He was like, I'm the talent. What are you? Who's running the show? And like no one from the con like appeared anywhere. So there's a few moments of him just like yelling for someone to take care of it, and then eventually he gave up and he was like, all right, he pointed at the mic and was like, okay, like ask me a question. So they'd ask a question, and he would just, for most of the questions that were asked, he would completely not answer it, and more so be like, oh, that reminds me of something. I'm a gun guy. I like guns, but gun control is another story, man. You got to respect the gun. And then he would just go on this whole thing.
He was talking about the RoboCop gun. He was like,
that massive thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he was, he kept referencing, gun control, gun laws several times, and he kept making an emphasis that he was a gun collector. The part in RoboCop where he spins the thing, that was all ad lib, and the directors like it, and they're like, let's put this in.
Said he does like quick draw for a hobby.
Yeah, that was actually an add-on scene after they'd filmed principal shooting.
That guy's intense.
Oh, he is intense, and he's a very sharp dude. Well, how old is he?
He's close to 80, I think. Let's see real quick.
He's in his 70s. Sharp 70s, as a tack. Yeah. He's got memory of an elephant, man. I mean, he knows
75.
He can list you just about everybody, every director, every actor that has been, every project he's been in.
Yeah.
He knows everybody.
He's one of those people that comes, I would put him in the same camp if you've met Adam West before he passed, where they're very intelligent and in a way arrogant, but it's very like they know and they accept that that's who they are.
Yeah.
And you can't really argue with it because they know what they're talking about. So you just kind of just let it happen.
It's like, all right, I got to be a yes man. All right, cool. Yeah.
So yeah, he came out and he was like, first off, no pictures of me. No one take a picture of me. No one take video of me. And he like just demanding all these things, and very intense, very just crazy.
Very direct.
Gramps was able to attempt to question.
I did.
You attempted. I don't know if he answered it or not, but
I attempted what I wanted to know, because everyone was there mostly for RoboCop questions. And he was the voice of Batman in the Dark Knight animated film, which was an interesting choice because, Kevin Conroy had always voiced Batman in any animated, feature, the series, anything. And so I remember when that Dark Knight Returns animated feature came out, it was Peter Weller. And it took me a while to realize, oh, that's RoboCop. And I thought, wow, what an interesting choice this is going to be. This is going to take this movie totally different direction, which is what they wanted. So my question, I said, when you were cast as Batman, and he stopped me, he was like, when I was offered the role. He corrected me before I even got the question out. So I learned really quickly that there is a difference between being cast and being offered the role.
100%. Yeah.
And to him, it was
Jesus.
almost, I didn't mean to, but I guess I insulted him when I said when you were cast. It's almost like when Levi hands him the top of the page of the poster. So we got a little bit of.
You both got punked.
We both got wellered.
Yeah.
We did. So he corrected me, and I apologized, and I said, okay, when you were offered the role of Batman in Dark Knight Returns, were you familiar with the story? And what did I say? I wanted to know if he was familiar with the story and Frank Miller's work. He had already had a history with Frank in RoboCop 2.
Right.
But he said, no, I didn't know the story. He had never read it. It was just, a job. I was like, oh, okay, well, because he's a guy that, especially with RoboCop, and even before my question came up, he had gone on this long answer about gun control, about cops, about all the socioeconomic situation in Detroit, about how Detroit had erected a statue of RoboCop, but the people there did not appreciate it because it's RoboCop pointing the gun. And he was like, you cannot have a symbol of authority pointing a gun in a city where most of the people feel oppressed by law enforcement. And that's been a hot topic. And so I felt like, oh, this is perfect segue for getting into Dark Knight Returns. And he's going to start breaking down, the political aspect and the law enforcement aspect. And I was like waiting for this big grand opening or answer about, how this is like a modern mythology and all this stuff. Nope. He was just like, nope, I didn't know the story at all. I was like, okay, well, damn.
Well, let me tell you, man, I knew who's he talking about. He like immediately just went on this rant about Batman and how who was it?
He was like, you want to know who made Batman? And everyone was like, Bob Kane and Bill Finger. Yeah, man, they made him, but who made him into Batman? And he started going, what was his name? Gardner Fox?
Yeah, I think that's right.
About how, once they created the character of Batman, they wanted basically Gardner Fox helped create the mythos and environment and some of the, I don't know, just the whole total package of who Batman was and how he came to be. So that was interesting. We got an art history lesson there.
Yeah, and I think it was because he knew a guy or something. He was like, "That's all I know about Batman." Next,
Right?
Okay.
Yeah, next. Oh man.
Oh God, now I want to meet him.
Oh,
he's a character, dude.
That's all I hear
into,
is
yeah.
how charismatic he is.
Oh, yeah.
That's funny. How long was the panel?
Probably an hour.
Okay.
Yeah. So
was this when we finally met up afterwards?
Yeah, and then we met up afterwards, and
At Artist Alley.
I think I ran into you at that one booth that sold the variants.
Unknown Comics.
Unknown Comics, yeah.
Yeah.
I love that booth.
For those of you Unknown Comics, Darren's a great guy. If you see him at a con, he has so many awesome books. And if you like sketches, he has so many blank covers. You got to check him out at your next con.
I got a lot of blank covers from him last year. I always
collection of variants.
I always go to his booth, and what's really cool is he's always got the most up to date and great selection.
Yeah,
and he's always got them in stock, man.
Buy two, get one free. Sweet deals, man. And there's solid covers by great artists.
So on Saturday, I'd seen somebody carrying around this large portfolio, with a handle. And I thought that is a genius idea. That is exactly what I need. Because I'd gotten a commission from Jay Lee. I love to buy art prints, and I had my photo with Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio, and then the Punisher. I had all those in like those, plastic sleeves to keep them protected and keep them bent. So I went to Michael's and got this portfolio thing for literally like $8. And, I was carrying around with me. It's great. And so I met up with you at Unknown Comics, and then we started walking down Artist Alley, and we went to a booth. Who did we go to? Tate.
He's the artist for House of Slaughter.
He's a writer.
He's a writer for House of Slaughter.
Right.
One of the writers, I guess, because mainly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Robin and I had interviewed him on Bat Force Radio a while back. Super cool guy. This was like actually one of his first conventions that he's done. He's a young, up-and-coming writer. And James Tinian's kind of took him under his wing and has him co-write on like House of Slaughter, some other books.
Solid person to be under.
Solid person. I grabbed a graphic novel from him and kept on going down Artist Alley. And there's a artist that I have a lot of his stuff. I like to, when I find one of these artists, I like to collect almost like with figures, army build, but I really like this guy's style. His name's Logan Pack. I think his Instagram handle is Art of Logan Pack. And he had some new pieces that I really liked. And I picked up his new Batman. And I think I got like a 12 by 18 size, which was, perfect to fit into my portfolio. I pay for it, and I reached down to put it in my portfolio.
Fucking instant panic.
And my heart goes into my throat because my portfolio is not there. And I've probably got $1,000 worth of stuff in this portfolio.
Easily.
And I,
Easily.
I, 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 I,
You had your Charlie Cox stuff, your
Charlie Cox,
Jay Lee.
Jay Lee.
Yeah, Jay Lee commission.
Yeah, Jay Lee commission. That alone, dude.
I had, the Charlie Cox Vincent D'Onofrio, that was 200 plus signed. That's 100, 180. So there's almost $400 in just one 8x10 photo right there. The Jay Lee, which was 400.
That's it. I seen enough to have a heart attack.
Bernthal was another 100. I mean, I was just like,
fuck.
I started going through that crowd, trying to retrace my steps where I had been, literally pushing people out of the way. Just move.
I don't even know where I was when this happened because we left, and then this happened.
I went back to the Unknown Comics, and I was like, "Did I leave this here? Did I leave this here?" And he was like, he checked back in the back, and he goes, "No, I don't know." And I was just like, "Where did we go to next?" Tate, and I went back to Tate's booth, and he had it. He saved my life. I had left it there when we were talking to him.
Oh God!
And one of the handlers from the booth next to him, I forget his name. I've seen him several times. He saw me leave it there, and they opened it up to see what was in it, and Tate was like, "Hey, I recognize that guy. He was just here," because they saw the Charlie Cox photo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
it's like an ID.
Yeah. So,
dude,
I retraced it, and thank you, Tate. That's all I got to say, man.
I think that's when I saw you. Like right after that, I think you guys were ready to go.
I think I literally almost fell on my knees. I was just like, "Oh my God.
Can I do this all over again in the next 2 hours before it closes?"
Oh my God.
That's some scary shit, man. That's like, that's why it's tough walking around with so much stuff at a con.
Yeah.
Like, the portfolio is a huge help, but like to have all that stuff on you, man, I
learned a lesson.
Yeah. Go to the car and drop it off and then come back. Now, it's just scary to carry that much stuff on you. And then, you there's so much going on in the con, and you kind of like rushing to the next thing because like, everything's time sensitive. And that easily happens so many times, man. It's scary. I tend to, of course, I work for vendors, so like I have stuff where I could put my stuff, but even that I get worried because like, what if someone just walks by and swipes it? So it's
right.
like, although at most cons we're all nerds, we're all having a good time, and no one's really, the majority of the people there are not doing that. Right. It's still, for me, it's in the back of my mind because I don't trust a lot of people, but it's some scary stuff, man. That's why you got to, constantly be aware where you place something. Because you just don't know. But dude, I'm happy you found it because,
dude, I mean,
we wouldn't be doing this podcast right now.
No, I would still be crying. I would still be crying.
Like, fuck Dallas Fan Expo.
Oh my gosh, I don't. Yeah, I would still be crying. I mean, while we mentioned it, let me show you what my Jay Lee commission was, because he's a very stylized artist.
Yeah,
and his work as soon as you see it. And so leading up to the con, a little backstory. Last year when Levi and I talked to him, Levi got this very cool RoboCop. I'm actually very jealous of that RoboCop.
It's
pretty legit.
Yeah, definitely do not regret getting that,
because I don't think he'd even ever done a RoboCop before.
Yeah, I think if he had, it wasn't like for anything for sure.
I was surprised that you didn't have Weller sign that. But after
what
happened, I'm kind of glad that you didn't have him sign that.
Right.
Try that next year. Let's see what happens.
I don't know. I mean, you can't trust him to have a pin ready to go.
Just get a recording too. Like not record it because you might get yelled at for that, but like have like your iPhone or something on record just to hear what the fuck he says, because I want to fucking hear it firsthand.
Oh, so last year he did Levi's RoboCop, and I mean it's awesome.
Yeah,
and for me, he drew my dog Louie, which was really cool. Who would guess that Jay Lee is such a dog person? I mean, he loves animals. Person. Yeah. And so we kind of built some rapport. So when I went up to his booth this year, I was like, hey, do you remember drawing my dog in the Batman suit? And he was like, yes, I love that. Thanks for coming back. He was like showing me his dogs. Now we trade dog photos. And, but because he's such a stylized artist, I was like trying to think of what I wanted. And I was even asking Levi before the convention, I was like, what should I get? I know I want like a superhero this year. Should I do this? Should I do that? And I kind of finally decided to go with Daredevil. So this was the commission that I almost lost. And I told him, I was like, make it look like he just got out of a fight and he's got some blood. And I don't know if he did it on purpose, but I can kind of see where with his arms and his head, it kind of looks like an E, like Elektra. I don't know. I don't know. It just looks really creepy and cool. I like it. So that was the commission I almost lost.
Thank God you did it, my friend, because I'm traumatized. That was pretty dope. I might have to like try to get something from Jay Lee eventually. I think his Superman Batman work was amazing. Getting something like that would be pretty dope.
He was finishing up a Batman on Sunday that I may have to get a Batman next time. Because his Batman is his own kind of style, and it's very cool, very, very cool. His Batman's kind of like a gargoyle.
Yeah,
I love that.
Very fitting.
Yeah.
I don't know, what was like the best highlight you guys had at the con? I know Levi can't figure that one out because, dude.
Yeah, I don't know if anything's gonna beat the Weller signing. That's
you got Weller. You got Weller.
Yeah, that's a unique.
Graham's got Weller.
What about y'all?
Finding my portfolio was probably the highlight.
Yeah.
Yo, honestly, like all jokes aside, I'm gonna go definitely the brisket.
Yeah. Honestly, that's valid.
That was so good. I was just like, I was happy with the brisket. Then we had the sandwiches with you guys. But my highlight was getting back to my bed at 1 o'clock in the morning on Sunday night. Because I was just like, I was trying to take everything all in like we're doing now. And I was just like, damn, this is a pretty dope ass con. And I'm like, damn, second year in a row. And I'm like, damn, all right, how the hell get the top next year? And I'm already thinking, got to talk to a few people and see what next year is going to look like. Do they have a date yet for next year? Hold on.
I'm always curious because I don't travel a lot to cons. I think the last time I traveled like a long distance was when I first met Levi in Houston. That's been a long time.
You've been to New York a few times.
Well, I went to New York Comic-Con. Yes, that was 6-7 years ago. But not compared to Dunk here. I mean, he goes. I don't know how many cons you been to already this year. 4 or 5?
This year's 4.
4.
Yeah, but I have another 4 that I know I'm going to.
Yeah.
And then, there's still some surprise ones that pop up. So I'm
always curious, how does Dallas compare to those?
It's tough, man, because like I'm really picky at which cons I go to. I started off the year with MegaCon. MegaCon's huge. I personally think MegaCon at this moment is the third biggest con in this country. San Diego being the first, New York being the second, and then MegaCon. C2E2 used to take that spot. Last couple of years I went to C2E2. I wasn't feeling it. Then I went to WickedCon, which is a small con. It's more comic book based, not many celebs, not pop culture, mostly comic books. That was a pretty dope con because you get so much done if you're just into comic books. Then what the hell was the other one? Oh, I went to Ontario Comic Con. That's another small con in California. And again, comic books, bin diving, found blanks, found books I wanted to get signed later on. Sick. Then Dallas, again, it's another Fan Expo. Fan Expo just what's tough is you can't go to multiple Fan Expos in a year because you start seeing some of the same people.
Yeah.
But per city, Fan Expo is doing a really great job of not duplicating guests the following year. You might have a few guests via, like Scott Collectibles. They have long tables. They could bring guests. They could probably duplicate the same guest following year. Common Sketch Arc, same thing. They might do that, but they also like to switch it around because you want more people to have a more variety, every 2 years. And that's the one thing about Fan Expo does really well. And Dallas is just a solid show. It's again, it's one of those that I got to add that I want to do every year. I don't know how much longer I could do this, but while I still can, I will. I'll be at San Diego a month from today for the first time ever. Got to get some really dope shoes for that, and get used to that because that starts like Wednesday night. And there's a Terrificon in Connecticut. It's on Mohegan Sun. That's another solid con that a lot of people sleep on, but it's also in Connecticut. It's Northeast. It's at a casino. A lot of great comic artists that don't do a lot of cons. A lot of artists live in New York, Maine, Connecticut, New Hampshire area, so they tend to go to this one. And they also have some celebrities that go there, not like big names, but somewhere in between. Then Boston Fan Expo, another Fan Expo. I'm not going to say anything more about Fan Expo. And then New York's New York. So I think Dallas so far from all the cons I've been to, definitely one of my top 5 at the moment. Although I'm scheduled to do 8 this year. I did 12 last year. But now I'm for next year, I'm trying to keep whatever my top 4 or 5 are. And then I want to do a different one, like Denver. I've never been to Colorado. Let's go to Colorado. I want to do Toronto. Might do that last minute. I don't know. But yeah, I think Dallas is a great show, great location, right there in downtown. A lot of good food in the area. Now you guys got scooters, so you don't have to Uber. Great. Love those damn scooters. But I don't know. Hopefully we can get a con where we all go to and travel one day.
That'd be cool.
San Diego.
San Diego, man.
They got scooters out there. But and then the other one big one, it's a sleeper. And I gotta blame the bro Risley. Baltimore Comic-Con. That's not on my wall. But that's September this year. Baltimore Comic-Con's a great Comic-Con show. A lot of great artists, great vendors to bin dive and stuff. And if you want to get sketches and stuff done, that's the show. They do like an auction that goes to a charity every Saturday of that con, and you could find some really dope art. But Dallas is up there. I think Dallas. I'll be at Dallas again next year.
Cool.
June 7th to the 9th. If everything works out, the 3 of us would be there again. Sweet. Just want to thank you guys for jumping on. We're hitting about an hour and a half here, and it's getting kind of late. Your boy Doug needs some sleep to get the pump some iron in the morning. But guys, thanks again. Thanks for linking up, hanging out, sharing experiences, and hopefully the third annual Grump, Stunk, and Levi connection occurs next year.
There you go, man.
I gotta come up with a good nickname. Doesn't roll off the tongue as well.
GDL.
GDL. There you go. Got a squad name.
We're gonna get shirts. No, you know what we'll do? We'll do what I think Legends, Tom and Kev Dog did. I think was it who drew them? One of the commissions was a picture of them. I was like, we'll do that, and I get shirts of that for every single year, and that's what we do walking around on Saturdays.
That's hilarious.
That'd be way better than my Backstreet Boys shirt.
That would be great.
I don't know, man. That Backstreet Boy shirt was quite conversation starter.
Dude, I just got stopped left and right. People were just taking selfies with the shirt, which is perfect because I'm 6'7". It's like a billboard. So yeah. But dudes, guys, thanks again. Till next year, right?
Until next year.
Or you never know. Hit the lotto and join me in San Diego.
There you go.
Well, guys, closing up this episode, once again, give us a follow. Check out Dallas Fan Expo next year. It's going to be June 7th to the 9th, 2024. Right now, it says it's the same convention center, so great. That means they're probably not going to have any construction there yet. Definitely check out Terry Black's while you're in the area. And just be safe where you're scootering around. Don't be a moron. Don't drink and scooter.
There you go.
Have a good one, guys. Peace.